This segment is brought to you by Cypress Stop, home of the happy customer.
All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Falls. Always glad to have First Lieutenant of the Sheriff's Department, Blake Tabor, with us. And First Lieutenant, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Martin. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about, first of all, we had a pretty involved weekend. I'm sure y'all were chasing, making sure the tornado action, everybody was safe.
We were. It took some time, but and it came upon us really quick. But thank God, no injuries or damage to speak of. Really,
it does keep people on their toes, doesn't it?
It's a different animal. Totally different animal.
It really is. No time to prepare. Really.
That's correct.
All right, so let's talk about y'all arrested a Houma man following a disturbance that involved some gunfire.
Absolutely. So this is a case that happened on October 22nd, shortly after 9 p.m. When our patrol division was called to the area of Petrie Street in response to some gunshots that were taking place. When we arrived there, obviously we know what kind of response we have whenever we have those types of complaints. When we got there, we actually found Houma Police Department there talking to a pretty heavily intoxicated male. So what's important for people to understand, the areas of Petrie Street, due to jurisdictional boundaries, it's one of those really odd areas where it actually belongs to the sheriff's office and part of that belongs to HPD. So, anytime we get complaints on that, you normally see a response from both agencies, and especially with gunfire, we want to make sure that everybody is safe. So once the intoxicated male and our sheriff's office got there, they could tell that he was obviously involved in the disturbance in some way, shape, or form. Deputies began to talk to a nearby resident who was a part of that argument with the intoxicated male, where we received some information that the intoxicated male came outside and fired some shots from a shotgun, and then ultimately retreated back into his house. So at that point, we were able to identify him as a Brad Lee Ratcliffe, 40 years of age. You see him photographed here. We also learned some pretty interesting information during the course of this investigation that Ratcliffe's father, when he heard the disturbance was taking place, he came to the residence and secured the weapon to make sure that nothing else happened from Ratcliffe. And so ultimately we made contact with him where we recovered that weapon. We also found that Ratcliffe was found to be a convicted felon. So again, that just adds an entirely new layer to this particular case. So ultimately, Ratcliffe was arrested for multiple charges, including discharge of a dangerous weapon or instrumentality, possession of firearm by convicted felon, and resisting an officer. He is currently still in jail on our jail for a $100,000 bond by local judges.
Tell you what, we just see more and more of this with firearms coming out. Back in the day, we didn't have a lot of firearm stories to talk about.
No, and look, this is something that, we feel like people always resort to first. We talk and we joke about it, how things were back in the day. You resolve disturbances with your fist, and that was one component of violence. And this is certainly a whole different layer, and obviously way more intense.
But obviously police and everyone would rather go back to the fist days and have the firearms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, neither one of them are good, but one of them's better
Absolutely.
Than the other. Halloween coming up. What's y'all plans for Halloween?
So look, it's a little different, it's going to happen on a Friday. So, obviously we're going to be putting some literature out, in response to Halloween safety tips from the sheriff. That always seems to garner a lot of interest. Our units will be out there patrolling the streets, making sure that the kids have an opportunity to trick or treat in a safe manner. But again, keep in mind, on October 31st, we're going to have quite a few football games that are going to be going on in the area. So, which require a lot of our resources for those as well. So, we may be spread a little thin, but again, we're going to make sure that we've got the right personnel in the right places to ensure safety for the entire community.
Yeah, who works the whole area of, I will talk just Terrebonne now because we're in Terrebonne, but who works it? Do y'all split that up amongst agencies if you get in a situation where you have a lot of football games? And
Absolutely. And look, the football games is one of those situations where HPD is working some of those in conjunction with us. Oftentimes we'll see, depending on where those SROs are going to school, for instance, we have an SRO of Ellender, but they play at South Terrebonne. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic, right? That school is housed in HPD's jurisdiction, but they're actually going to school in Terrebonne. So it becomes a little tricky. And so anytime you go to these South Terrebonne games and you see an HPD officer, it always kind of makes you go, wow, well, what are they doing here? But that's in fact what it is. It's their home school. So yeah, anytime we get things going on in the city limits and we can help, we do that. Anytime there's something with close jurisdictional boundaries in our area for them, they can come out and help as well. So, it's a all hands on deck type thing.
And it's sort of humanized when you come on the desk here. Your son is playing for a team that is undefeated at Vanderbilt.
That is correct.
And it's coming down to the last 2 games, right?
It is going to be a showdown at Edie White, I have a feeling. So it's going to be very interesting.
So what's new, right?
What's new? That's right.
Ever since I went to Vanderbilt, it has always been and it's a great rivalry.
It really is.
It really is. And without rivalries, there's really no drama and no excitement. So good for both schools. It'll be a good game, and it'll be one that's well watched.
Absolutely. I think we all knew where this was heading even before the season. Yeah. There's a reason that game is last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's coming to fruition. So
well, thank y'all for what y'all do, and y'all stay safe for Halloween, and thank y'all for keeping everybody safe during a holiday time, but probably large crowds.
Absolutely.
All right. Once again, the First Lieutenant Blake Tabor. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more.
This segment was brought to you by Cypress Stop, home of the happy customer.